Welcome. Today is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. Coming up this hour, Virtual Beings, Briefing 1. Virtual beings reshape industries from media and marketing to healthcare, governance, and companionship. Virtual Beings, Briefing 2. Virtual beings get a hardware and software boost as new tools and commercial players emerge. And finally, World Models and Meta-Anduril Briefing. Meta's superintelligence infrastructure push converges with world models, research, and shifting industry power dynamics. We begin with weather and broadcasting. South Korean weather company K-Weather placed a generative AI female character, Kim CA, on its YouTube channel, Weather Environment Agency, to deliver forecasts in a format that closely mimics a terrestrial broadcast studio. Online audiences quickly spread the clips, and some viewers believed terrestrial broadcasters had replaced human weathercasters, prompting a mixed reaction that praised the technology's speed while criticizing the figure's appearance as overly sexualized and distracting from the information. The incident has broadened into a wider debate over AI-generated female presenters in South Korea, where MBC now uses AI-generated voices modeled on its announcers for radio news, and TV Chosun introduced an AI reporter named Ayan that selects items, generates scripts, and produces videos for its morning show. Next, marketing, advertising, and virtual influencers. Indian e-commerce platform Myntra tested AI avatars in influencer marketing, where agency reports indicate that while AI creators generate high attention, human influencers still outperform them on trust, leading brands to use virtual creators alongside human rosters rather than replacing them. According to Confluence, roughly 80 to 100 Indian brands are experimenting with AI influencers, mainly in fashion, beauty, tech, and quick commerce, funding pilots from existing social media budgets because a single virtual avatar deployed simultaneously in dozens of outfits, settings, and formats can dramatically compress production economics compared to a celebrity shoot. Gaming and youth-focused tech brands have been the earliest adopters, as their audiences already embrace digital characters, though trust remains the missing piece that keeps AI influencer campaigns in the trial stage rather than core media investments. Globally, the virtual influencer market passed us $11 billion this year, and research by Favicon shows that virtual influencers average a 5.67% engagement rate on general content versus 1.89% for human creators, but the advantage inverts on sponsored posts, where humans generate substantially more engagement. A Wharton study also found that virtual influencers read as more trustworthy when paired with a human companion, a mechanism coach deployed with 5 human ambassadors. In India, notable virtual creators include Myra Kapoor, ambassador for Manforce, Naina, over 378,000 followers, and Vijay Kolliwad, 235,000 followers, while some Instagram accounts now sell bundles of AI influencer reels directly. Agencies such as Klug estimate over 150,000 AI influencers globally, and more than 2,000 in India on Instagram alone. In gaming news, ChinaJoy 2026, held in Shanghai under the theme Level Up with AI, placed AI-powered non-player characters at the center of its new ChinaJoy Next Play Innovation Game Experience Arena, a hands-on zone built in partnership with 405 Yaoju, where consumers can interact with NPCs driven by large language models that replace scripted behavior trees with natural language understanding, emotion processing, and memory. Commercial platforms enabling this at scale include NVIDIA's Avatar Cloud Engine, In-World AI, and Convai, while the show was accompanied by the state-backed launch of Shanghai's overseas game export service platform at the China International Game Developers Conference. Arcade's AI, a browser-based UG ad generator, uses a library of over 1,000 AI actors and custom AI avatar creation to let performance marketers produce lip-synced, gesture-accurate talking head videos from a text script in about 2 minutes. Separately, Square Enix and Google Gemini are continuing a collaboration on AI-powered companion characters, following the earlier divisive, chatty slimy companion on Dragon Quest X, with an in-person Gemini Quest event in Tokyo that uses augmented reality to cast spells on monster statues. Now, companion apps and synthetic relationships. A national survey by Vantage Point Counseling found that 28% of US adults reported a romantic or intimate relationship with an AI system, while 54% reported some form of ongoing relationship, a trend that psychologists link to the appeal of non-judgmental, always available digital companions, but that experts warn may displace the developmental friction of real human connections. In China, authorities are cracking down on AI companion services, forcing millions of users to sever ties with virtual partners. Among dedicated platforms, GoLove AI offers a free tier with unlimited messaging and persistent memory, a library of over 350 pre-built characters and custom creation tools, with paid plans unlocking higher quality voice, images, and features. The app is reviewed as the best value AI companion in 2026 by Virtual Candy. What's Love AI markets itself as an all-in-one AI companion for chat and roleplay, built on a unified personality architecture that maintains character consistency across casual conversation and immersive storytelling, with persistent cross-session memory and context-driven video chat that generates scenario-specific short videos matched to the live dialogue. Turning to enterprise and professional virtual beings. Dassault Systems announced that its three virtual AI companions on the 3D Experience platform, Aura Program Management, Leo Engineering, and Marie Deep Science, are now live, each enriched with 19 competencies intended to co-create and cooperate with users inside model-based engineering workflows. In the real estate analytics space, Lone Wolf Technologies launched Talent on its Brokermetrics platform, which features an AI teammate called Aspen, designed to identify agents whose production patterns match a brokerage's growth goals, flag flight risk signals early, draft recruiting pitches, answer broker questions in plain English, and pull an agent's public social activity into a single view. SignageCom's AI-powered design studio lets business owners upload a logo or describe their trade to explore possible sign concepts, with the company's CEO Hassan Qureshi framing the tool as a way to use AI for early-stage visualization, while experienced professionals still handle structural review, code compliance, and installation. In the newsroom, Futury content automation transforms raw inputs such as press conferences and live footage into publish-ready articles, video clips, social posts, and branded graphics. Stations in the early access program have cut production time by 80%, tripled digital output, and saved more than 15% on news production costs. Next, digital humans for real-time interaction. CoreWeave partnered with the interactive avatar platform Anam to power photorealistic AI avatars for face-to-face conversations, using NVIDIA RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition GPUs to meet Anam's latency requirement of under 180 milliseconds. CoreWeave's infrastructure is deployed in the US and Europe. Boson AI, founded by machine learning researcher Alex Smola, is preparing to release Higgs Real-Time, a speech-to-speech model that aims to reduce the latency and loss of nuance introduced by intermediate text-to-speech steps. The company previously launched its Higgs Avatar API in June 2026, generating real-time talking head video from a still image. In Australia, Telstra became one of the first telcos globally to expand satellite to mobile services beyond text, enabling select apps such as WhatsApp and Google Maps on compatible devices via Starlink, which opens a connectivity layer that could support lightweight avatar-based interactions in remote areas. In consumer RE avatars and identity news, Apple's first smart glasses, now targeted for a WWDC 2027 unveiling, are being designed with privacy as a central concern. Bloomberg reports that Apple has prototyped versions that omit cameras or that restrict camera use entirely to AI sensing features without photo or video capture, deliberately avoiding the backlash Meta faces with its Ray-Ban smart glasses being used for non-consensual recording. Meta itself launched a free Facebook-verified badge that uses a selfie video to match the user's face against profile photos, rolling out across Feed, Marketplace, Groups, and Dating, while the company also signed the EU AI Act Code of Practice on transparency of AI-generated content. Now, government and political avatars. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's AI-powered WhatsApp avatar, PMX AI, developed by technology firm Zetrix AI under the Avatar Inc. platform, was taken offline for upgrades shortly after its July 18 launch. When operational, it allows citizens to share views, concerns, and aspirations directly with a digital twin trained on Anwar's writings, speeches, and policy records. In Brazil, where former President Jair Bolsonaro is barred from this year's election, his allies are reportedly exploring whether an AI avatar could campaign on his behalf. Turning to education and companion robots. The Salamanca City Central School District in New York paused its pilot of a Realbotix educational robot and digital avatar, named Sally, after criticism from parents and the State Teachers Union, which demanded enforceable statewide guardrails for humanoid AI in classrooms. Meanwhile, Tencent revived its classic virtual pet service QQ Pet, now featuring 3D models powered by their in-house Hunyuan Hai 3 large language model, which supports natural conversation, proactive responses, and appearance across QQ chat interfaces while retaining legacy play such as feeding and jobs. Next, healthcare and medical contexts. A legal case, Winters v. OpenAI, represents the first test of whether product liability and negligence per se theories can apply to a generative AI chatbot whose prolonged health advice allegedly contributed to a near-fatal pulmonary embolism. The complaint also invokes California's new AI healthcare licensing statutes, and the suit sits alongside a growing number of wrongful death suits against chatbot developers, including actions involving character technologies, chatbots that falsely presented themselves as licensed physicians. And finally, cross-cutting AI avatar infrastructure and market projections. The AI avatar app market, valued at $1.77 billion in 2025, is projected to reach $25.82 billion by 2035, according to SNS Insider, driven by demand for personalized digital identities, virtual assistants, and immersive content. Mobile applications held 46% of 2025 revenue, while the freemium monetization model accounted for 42%. Key companies cited in market reports include Synthesia, HeyGen, DID, NVIDIA, Soul Machines, UneQ, Replica, DeepBrain AI, Colossian, and Hour One. Liquid Interactive, a Canadian venture studio spin-out, raised us $700,000 in pre-seed funding for its visual-first AI experiences, with its first product, Liquid Photos, turning static camera rolls into explorable, interactive sequences. Adcore delivered 5 autonomous AI agents across its Proposally and AI Studio platforms, including a creative agent that autonomously produces banners, images, and video ads, and plans to add a media buying agent in Q3 2026. We begin with enabling technology. Moonshot AI released the full model weights and a technical report for Kimi K3, a 2.8 trillion parameter mixture of experts model that activates 16 of 896 experts per token and features a roughly 1 million token context window with native vision capabilities. The company claims a 2.5x improvement in intelligence per unit of compute over Kimi K2, attributed to a Kimi delta attention mechanism delivering up to 6.3x faster decoding in million token contexts and a stable latent MOE framework. Moonshot AI also open-sourced FlashKDA, MoonEP, and AgentEnv, comprising attention kernels and MOE communication library and infrastructure for running agent environments at scale. The model is accessible via the Kimi API, Kimi.com, Kimi Work, and Kimi Code, with hosted pricing of $3 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. The LM Studio Bionic agentic workflow platform added support for Kimi K3, letting users run tasks with the model on US-based inference with a zero data retention policy. Weekly usage ranking from the OpenRouter platform for the period of July 20 to July 26 showed the top 5 models by call volume were all developed by Chinese companies, with Xiaomi's MIMO V2.5 recording 10.5 trillion tokens of usage, followed by DeepSeek V4 Flash, Tencent's Hunyuan Hai 3, Zhipu AI GLM 5.2, and DeepSeek V4 Pro. MIMO V2 5 adopts a mixture of experts architecture with over a trillion total parameters, 42 billion activated, and an ultra-long 1 million token context window supporting text, voice, and image modalities. DeepSeek V4 Flash and V4 Pro both launched on April 24 and are equipped with 1 million token context windows, with the Flash version at 284 billion total parameters and 13 billion activated, and the Pro version at 1.6 trillion total parameters and 49 billion activated under an MIT open source license. Tencent's Hunyuan Hai 3, open-sourced on July 6, is a 295 billion parameter model activating 21 billion parameters per reasoning step, supports up to 256K context, and grew over 999% in weekly usage to 3.94 trillion tokens. Jipu AI GLM 5.2, fully open-sourced on June 15, is a 753 billion parameter base model focused on long-cycle engineering tasks. And finally, products and vendors. Paysha launched conversational and AI payments, a service built on its Capture Assist API that lets AI agents take card and bank payments by phone or chat, while completely isolating the sensitive payment data from the AI's network, transcript, and logs. When an AI agent reaches the payment step, Capture Assist takes over, allowing the customer to enter card details on a Paysha-hosted form or by phone keypad, with Paysha processing the transaction on its PCI DSS Level 1 platform and returning only a token and a result to the agent. The isolation extends to bank account details and other sensitive identifiers, and the service is backed by a data protection agreement designating Paysha as the data processor, with card data never logged or used for model training. Fable Studio CEO Edward Sarcher produced and Zach London created and directed Gods Don't Give Gifts, which is set to become the first AI-generated feature film to receive a theatrical release in the United States when it hits theaters on October 30. London emphasized that the film was made with a full creative team, including designers and voice actors, and that AI was one of many tools used, with each character potentially resulting from hundreds or thousands of images meshed together and manually edited and animated. Pikwand AI Viral Video Cloner is positioned as an AI clone video generator that analyzes viral video elements such as hooks, structure, pacing, and visual effects, then helps users recreate those patterns with their own images and ideas for platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. On the HeyGen community forum, a user launching a business asked whether using provided templates affects the algorithm when posting AI-cloned videos daily, and a HeyGen representative announced a product test session for a video platform on July 31, recruiting a small group of local real estate agents. We begin with Meta Superintelligence Infrastructure. Meta and BlackRock announced in July 2026 a venture to develop a 1 gigawatt data center campus in El Paso, Texas, at a total development cost of roughly $14 billion. BlackRock managed funds take an 80% stake, and Meta retains 20%. Meta contributes land and in-progress construction worth approximately $2.3 billion, while BlackRock puts in about $4.9 billion in cash, partly backed by $12.5 billion in debt financing, and Meta receives a one-time distribution near $1 billion to align the ownership split. The campus is already under construction, will support more than 4,000 construction jobs at peak, and is expected to begin delivering compute capacity in 2028. Mark Zuckerberg framed the partnership as essential infrastructure for superintelligence, and the deal structure lets Meta lease the entire campus back on an initial 4-year term with options extending to 20 years, securing long-term compute while sharing the upfront capital burden. The El Paso deal is one piece of a much larger build-out. Meta has said it plans to invest $600 billion in AI infrastructure in the US by 2028 and is constructing multiple gigawatt-scale data centers, including a rural Louisiana project that could expand to 5 gigawatts and more than $50 billion. Ahead of its second quarter earnings, Wall Street is scrutinizing the spending levels, with shares down roughly 10% year-to-date, and there is open speculation about whether Meta might raise its capital expenditure guidance. The company has overhauled its AI strategy through Meta Superintelligence Labs, and after releasing the Muse Spark 1 model in April, followed up in July with Muse Image and Muse Spark 1.1, the latter being its first model monetized through an API and its first with competitive agentic coding capabilities. Reports also indicate Meta is in talks to lease compute capacity to third parties, such as Anthropic, a move that would mark a significant expansion of how it monetizes its data center fleet. Next, Meta Superintelligence Labs and product releases. Muse Image launched as the first image generation model out of Meta Superintelligence Labs and was integrated directly into Meta AI, with features that understood complex prompts, pulled in web context, and blended multiple photos. Within days, the tool was withdrawn after a swift public backlash. Instagram users discovered their accounts had been automatically enrolled, meaning public profile photographs could be used by the model to generate new images without explicit consent. SAG-AFTRA publicly called for an immediate opt-out mechanism, and Meta acknowledged it had missed the mark, stating the tool is no longer available, but leaving open whether it will return with revised consent flows. The episode arrives amid broader scrutiny of how Meta handles user data across its roughly 9 billion strong user base across Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. On the model release cadence, Meta Superintelligence Labs moved from rebuilding the company's training and post-training stack into a faster product cycle. After debuting Muse Spark 1 in April, the company shipped Muse Spark 1.1 in July, the first model offered through an API with agentic coding capabilities and the first to be directly monetized. The lab's work is now showing up in the core advertising engine. Ad impressions were up 19% year-over-year in Q1, with average price per ad up 12% on revenue of $56.31 billion, giving Meta a tighter feedback loop between infrastructure spend and revenue than some of its hyperscaler peers. In World Models, Research News. Paper posted to archive in late July by researchers at the Chinese Academy of Sciences, Institute of Automation, systematically examined how data choices during pre-training determine a model's ceiling on long-horizon planning tasks. The study found that training with an explicit world model chain of thought, where the model simulates state transitions internally, beat direct action prediction by a reported 42.9 pass at 8 points on long tasks. Mixing even 5% of long-horizon trajectories into a pre-training corpus dominated by atomic skills lifted middle horizon pass at 8 from near zero to over 51%. On the post-training side, the paper argued that sparse reward methods like GRPO break down in what it calls the unsupported region of long-horizon credit assignment, while on-policy distillation maintains gradient direction similarity to the final checkpoint in the 0, 6, 0, 8 range versus 0, 0, 0, 3 for GRPO. The experiments ran on a synthetic benchmark built on QN2, 5 with a 1.2B token corpus, so the numbers are not claimed to transfer directly to frontier-scale production agents, but the recipe, world model chain of thought plus a small long-horizon share plus on-policy distillation, is unusually specific. A broader feature piece in life science surveyed the state of world models as a field, systems that perform action-conditioned future prediction, learning to estimate the current state of an environment and predict how it will change in response to actions. The article traced the modern incarnation from a 2018 paper by David Ha and Eugen Schmidhuber through Google's PLANet and Dreamer, up to Yann LeCun's joint embedding predictive architecture, which operates in latent space rather than on raw pixels. LeCun, formerly Meta's AI head, has raised over $1 billion for a startup called AMI Labs to build world models using that approach. The piece also noted the debate over whether video generation models like OpenAI's Sora qualify as true world models. The consensus among researchers interviewed is that without action conditioning, they cannot predict counterfactual futures, and highlighted that most world models today are trained offline on curated data rather than through interactive, continual learning of the kind humans and animals use. Now, world models in industry and investment. Chinese video generation and AI companies are racing to reposition themselves around world models. In July 2026 alone, Kelling AI raised $3 billion, Shengshu Technology raised $500 million, Aishi Technology closed a C+ round, and Jixiang Future raised RMB 1.5 billion, the combined funding exceeding the sector's total over the prior 2 years. Each company is threading a world model narrative. Shengshu launched a general world action model called MotorBrain that unifies perception, prediction, and action for robots. Aishi released Pixverse R1, which it calls the first general-purpose real-time world model supporting 1080p, roughly 0.5-second response. Kelling and Jixiang are both framing their roadmaps around multimodal world model platforms. iDreamEye raised a RMB 1.5 billion Series C to advance native omnimodal world models, while Momenta deployed its proprietary R7 world model, previously used for passenger vehicle autonomous driving, into a robovan delivery business in Suzhou, leveraging over 12 billion kilometers of real-world driving data and a mapless solution. Ropedia, a Singapore-founded startup building data infrastructure for physical AI, raised a $22 million pre-Series A with a team drawn from Tsinghua, NTU, Lab, Meta Reality Labs, and Google, and supplies model-ready datasets to robotics and world model teams. On the hardware side, AMD announced the Ryzen AI embedded X100 series processors at AMD Advancing AI 2026, integrating up to 16 Zen 5 CPU cores, a discrete class integrated GPU, and an NPU on a single SoC aimed at perception, reasoning, and real-time control workloads for physical AI. Multicoreware demonstrated vision language action models running on the platform for real-time robotic intelligence. And finally, people, labs, and competitive dynamics. Ilya Sutskever's Safe Superintelligence Inc. secured access to NVIDIA's Vera Rubin platform, a deal valued at multiple billions of dollars that will increase its compute by an order of magnitude. NVIDIA said it gained rare access to SSI's secret research and cited significant milestones. SSI, which has raised over $7 billion at a $32 billion valuation, continues to emphasize safe and ethical development of superintelligence, a position that contrasts sharply with the commercial trajectory of Sutskever's former company, OpenAI. Notably, SSI's founding CEO Daniel Gross left the startup to join Meta's Superintelligence Labs, linking the two organizations through a senior leadership move. Recursive Superintelligence, founded by Richard Socher with researchers from OpenAI, DeepMind, and Meta AI, signed a $410 million compute deal with Oars. The UK Parliament's Post Unit approved a new research note on the future of AI that will examine world models, self-improving AI, agentic AI, and artificial general intelligence, asking what systems may be in use, what they can do, and what safeguards are being proposed. That's all for this hour's briefings. You can help improve this broadcast by supporting patreon.com/mendiBot. Thanks to all our patrons listed here.